Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English is My Life. I'm Haley, and as always, I'm really happy you're here with us today.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sam. Thanks so much for joining us. Whether you're listening at home, on the bus, or while doing chores, we're glad you're here.
On this podcast, we focus on real, natural English that you can actually use in daily life. No pressure, no grammar stress, just real conversations.
And today's topic is something we all think about almost every day, even if we don't always like talking about it.
That's right. Today, we're talking about money. More specifically, how to talk about money in daily English.
Money is one of those topics that can feel uncomfortable, right? Some people love talking about it, and some people avoid it completely.
Exactly. But the truth is, we talk about money all the time. When we shop, when we pay bills, when we save money, when we complain about prices.
Or when we say things like, wow, that's expensive, or I'm broke right now.
Yes, those are perfect examples. And the good news is, you don't need difficult vocabulary to talk about money. Simple English is enough.
So today, we're going to keep it very natural and very practical, just like two friends chatting about money in real life.
Before we start, if you enjoy this podcast, please remember to subscribe to English is My Life and support us. It really helps us keep making new episodes.
All right, Haley, let me start with a simple question. Do you like talking about money?
That's a good question. I think it depends. I don't like talking about money in a stressful way, but I do like talking about budgeting and saving.
That makes sense. For me, I don't mind talking about money with close friends, but I feel awkward talking about salaries.
That's very common. In many cultures, talking about how much you earn is very private.
Exactly. But talking about daily money things like shopping or expenses feels more normal.
So let's start there. Let's talk about daily spending. Sam, what's something you spend money on every single day?
Coffee. Definitely coffee. I buy coffee almost every day on my way to work.
Same here. Coffee is a daily habit for many people. So a simple sentence you can use is, I spend money on coffee every day.
Or I spend too much money on coffee.
That's a very honest sentence. Now, notice the verb we're using here, spend. We say, spend money on something.
For example, I spend money on food. I spend money on transportation. Or I spend money on online shopping.
Good examples. Now, what about food? Do you usually eat at home or eat out?
I try to eat at home during the week, but on weekends, I often eat out with friends.
So you could say, I spend more money on food on the weekends.
Yes, exactly. Eating out is usually more expensive than cooking at home.
That's another useful phrase, more expensive. You can say, eating out is expensive, or this restaurant is too expensive for me.
And the opposite is cheap or affordable. This place is cheap or the price is affordable.
Affordable is a great word. It means the price is okay for you. It doesn't hurt your budget.
Speaking of budget, that's an important word when talking about money.
Yes, a budget is a plan for your money. You decide how much you can spend and how much you should save.
Do you have a budget, Haley?
I do. It's not very strict, but I try to follow it. I track my expenses every month.
That sounds very responsible. So you could say, I try to stick to my budget.
Exactly. Or I'm on a tight budget this month.
That's a very useful phrase. If you say, I'm on a tight budget, it means you don't have much extra money.
Right. Maybe you need to save money or pay some bills.
Ah, bills. Another big part of daily money talk.
Yes, bills are things you must pay regularly, like rent, electricity, water, internet.
So you can say, I have a lot of bills to pay this month.
Or my rent is due next week.
Due means the deadline, the time you must pay.
Exactly. Now, let's talk about saving money. Sam, are you good at saving money?
Honestly, not really. I try, but it's hard.
That's very relatable. Many people say that. So you could say, I'm trying to save money, but it's difficult.
Yes, or I need to save more money.
Saving money is often connected to future goals.
like traveling, buying a house, or just feeling safe.
So you might say, I'm saving money for a trip, or I'm saving money for the future.
Those are very natural sentences. Now, what about the opposite of saving money?
Spending too much money.
Yes, or wasting money.
Good point. Waste money means you spend money on things you don't really need.
For example, I waste money on things I don't use.
Or, I regret buying that. It was a waste of money.
That's a very common phrase, a waste of money.
Okay, let's pause for a moment. So far, we've talked about spending money, budgets, bills, saving money, and wasting money.
All very real-life topics.
And notice how simple the language is. No complicated grammar.
Just clear, everyday English.
In the next part, we'll talk more about earning money, salary, being broke, and how people really talk about money in casual conversations.
Yes, we'll also talk about phrases people use when they don't have enough money or when things are getting too expensive.
So stay with us, take a deep breath, and keep listening.
Let's continue.
All right, let's keep going. We've talked about spending money, saving money, budgets, and bills. Now let's move to another big part of money talk in daily English.
Yes, let's talk about earning money.
Because at the end of the day, money doesn't just appear. We work for it.
Exactly. So the most common verb here is earn. We say, I earn money or I earn a living.
I earn a living is a great phrase. It means you make money to support your life.
For example, I earn a living as a teacher, or she earns a living as a designer.
And another very common verb is make. I make money, I make good money, or I don't make much money.
Right. People often ask, what do you do for a living? That's another way of asking how you earn money.
So if someone asks you that, you can say, I work as a, or I make money by.
For example, I work as a software developer, or I make money by selling products online.
Now let's talk about salary and income.
Okay, salary is usually the money you get regularly from a job, often every month.
Yes, you can say I get a monthly salary, or my salary isn't very high.
So, income is a more general word. It means all the money you earn, not just from one job.
So you could say my main source of income is my job, or I have multiple sources of income.
That sounds very professional, but it's still common English.
Now, let's be honest, sometimes money is tight.
Very tight.
And people don't usually say, I don't have enough money. They use more casual expressions.
Like, I'm broke.
Yes, I'm broke is very common in daily English. It means you have little or no money.
For example, I can't go out this weekend. I'm broke.
Or I just paid my rent, I'm broke now.
Another similar phrase is, I'm short on cash.
That's a good one. It sounds a bit softer than I'm broke.
You could say, I'm a bit short on cash right now.
And if things are really difficult, people sometimes say money is tight.
For example, money is tight this month, so I need to be careful.
Notice how polite and indirect that sounds.
Yes, English speakers often soften money talk. They don't like sounding too dramatic.
Now let's talk about prices, because we all talk about prices when we shop.
All the time, especially now.
So when something costs too much, we say, that's expensive.
Or that's way too expensive.
Way too is very common in spoken English.
For example, that phone is way too expensive for me.
And if the price is okay, you might say, that's reasonable.
Or that's a fair price.
Fair price means the price matches the value.
And if something is cheap, you can say, that's cheap or that's a good deal.
A good deal is a great phrase. It means you're paying less than expected.
For example, I got this jacket on sale. It was a really good deal.
Speaking of sales, that's another common money topic.
Yes, people love sales.
So you can say, this store is having a sale, or I bought it at a discount.
Discount means the price is lower than usual.
And sometimes people say, I couldn't resist the discount.
That means you didn't plan to buy it, but the price was too good.
Now let's talk about paying.
Yes, we pay for things all the time.
You can say, I paid in cash, or I paid by card.
Or I paid online.
Very common nowadays.
And when you don't want to pay for something, you might say, I can't afford it.
That's a very important phrase. I can't afford it doesn't mean you have zero money.
It just means it's not a smart choice for your budget.
Exactly. For example, I like that car, but I can't afford it right now.
Or I can't afford to eat out every day.
Now let's talk about borrowing money.
That can be awkward.
Very awkward, but it happens.
So if you need money temporarily, you might say, "Can I borrow some money?"
And when you give it back, you say, I'll pay you back.
Pay back is very important.
For example, don't worry, I'll pay you back next week.
And if someone still owes you money, you might say, "He hasn't paid me back yet."
Now let's move to something many people deal with, debt.
Debt means money you owe,
You can say, I'm in debt or I have some debt.
often because of loans, credit cards, or student loans.
So a natural sentence is, I'm trying to pay off my debt.
Pay off means finish paying completely.
That's a great phrase to remember.
Okay, Haley, let me ask you something more personal.
Uh-oh.
Do you think talking about money is stressful?
Sometimes yes, especially when money is tight.
That's why people also talk about money emotionally.
For example, money stresses me out.
Or, "I worry about money a lot."
Very honest sentences.
But some people say, "I try not to think about money too much."
That's also very real.
In the next part, we'll talk about money habits, saving versus spending, and how people describe their relationship with money.
Yes, we'll also talk about common money conversations with friends and family.
So stay with us. We're just getting into the deeper part of this topic.
Let's keep going. All right, let's keep the conversation flowing. In the last part, we talked about earning money, prices, paying, borrowing, and even debt.
Yes, and now I think it's time to talk about something very personal.
Your relationship with money.
Exactly, because everyone feels differently about money.
Some people love talking about money, planning it, tracking it.
And others avoid the topic completely.
So let's start with this simple but powerful sentence. I'm good with money.
That means you manage money well. You budget, you save, you don't overspend.
On the other hand, some people say, I'm terrible with money.
That usually means they spend too much or don't plan.
Very honest sentence and very common.
You might also hear, "Money burns a hole in my pocket."
I love that expression. It means you spend money as soon as you get it.
For example, every time I get paid, I go shopping. Money burns a hole in my pocket.
Now let's talk about saving habits.
Saving is something everyone talks about, but not everyone does.
True. So the basic phrase is, I save money.
But people often make it more specific.
Like, I try to save money every month.
Or, "I put money aside for emergencies."
Put money aside means save it for later.
Very useful phrase.
Some people also say, I'm saving up for something.
Yes, saving up means collecting money slowly over time.
For example, I'm saving up for a vacation, or I'm saving up to buy a new laptop.
That's very natural English.
Now, what about people who don't save?
They might say, "I live paycheck to paycheck."
That's an important phrase.
It means you use all your money before the next paycheck arrives.
For example, I want to save, but I live paycheck to paycheck.
Very real situation for many people.
Another phrase is, I don't have much left at the end of the month.
That sounds softer and more polite.
Yes, English speakers often soften money talk.
Now let's talk about spending habits.
People often describe themselves like this, I'm a big spender, or I'm careful with money.
A big spender is someone who spends a lot.
Careful with money means you think before you spend.
You can also say, "I'm frugal."
Frugal means you don't waste money.
It's not negative. It often sounds smart.
For example, I'm frugal. I compare prices before buying anything.
Compare prices is another great phrase.
Yes, I always compare prices before I buy.
Now let's talk about impulse buying.
That's a dangerous one.
Impulse buying means buying things without planning.
You might say, I bought it on impulse.
Or, "I'm an impulse buyer."
For example, I didn't need it, I just bought it on impulse.
Very natural sentence.
Now let's move to talking about money with other people,
This can be tricky.
especially with family and friends.
So instead of saying, I don't have money, people say, I'm trying to save right now.
That sounds polite and responsible.
Or, I'm cutting back on spending.
Cutting back means reducing.
For example, I'm cutting back on eating out.
Or I'm cutting back on unnecessary expenses.
Expenses is another important word,
Expenses are things you spend money on regularly.
like rent, food, transportation.
Now let's talk about money and emotions.
Because money isn't just numbers.
It affects how people feel.
For example, money worries keep me up at night.
That means you can't sleep because you're thinking about money.
Or, I feel stressed about money.
Very common and very honest.
But some people say, money gives me peace of mind.
Peace of mind means feeling calm and secure.
For example, having savings gives me peace of mind.
Now let's talk about financial goals.
People often say, my financial goal is to,
For example, my financial goal is to buy a house.
or my goal is to be debt-free.
Debt-free means you owe no money.
That's a very common goal.
Some people also say, I want financial freedom.
That means you don't worry about money all the time.
You have enough to live comfortably.
Now let's move to common everyday money conversations.
Like when friends talk about going out.
Someone might say, let's go out for dinner.
And you can respond, I'd love to, but I'm on a budget.
On a budget means you're limiting spending.
That's a very polite way to say no.
Or, can we do something cheaper?
Great sentence.
Now let's talk about splitting the bill.
Oh yes, very important.
You can say, let's split the bill.
That means everyone pays their share.
Or, I'll pay my part.
Very natural.
And if someone pays for you, you might say, I'll get it next time.
That's very polite and friendly.
Now let's talk about money advice.
People often say things like, you should save more, or try not to spend too much.
And sometimes, investing is important. Invest means using money to make more money.
But that topic can get complicated. So in daily English, people often keep it simple, like, I'm learning to manage my money better.
That's a great sentence.
It sounds mature and realistic.
In the next part, we'll talk about money mistakes, regrets, and how people talk about lessons they've learned about money.
Yes, and we'll also talk about polite ways to say no when money is involved.
So let's keep going and finish this topic strong.
Absolutely. Let's move on. All right, Sam, we've talked about earning money, spending money, and saving money. Now I think it's time to talk about something a little more emotional. Money and feelings. Because let's be honest, money isn't just numbers, right?
Absolutely. Money affects how we feel every single day. Sometimes it makes us feel safe and relaxed, and sometimes it makes us feel stressed, worried, or even guilty.
Exactly. So today, let's help our listeners learn how to talk about money stress and money feelings in English in a very natural, everyday way.
That's such an important topic. So many people feel stressed about money, but they don't know how to talk about it in English.
Right. So let's start with one of the most common feelings, money stress. Sam, when you feel stressed about money, what do you usually say?
The most common thing I say is, I'm worried about money right now. It's simple, honest, and very natural.
Yes, that's a great one. You can also say, money is really stressing me out. That sounds very real-life English.
Exactly. Or, I'm under a lot of financial pressure. That one sounds a little more serious, maybe for work situations.
Good point. Let's give more examples our listeners can use. You can say, I'm living paycheck to paycheck. That means you use almost all your money before your next salary arrives.
That's a very common expression. Another one is, I'm struggling to make ends meet. It means it's hard to pay for everything you need.
Yes, and if things are really tight, you can say, money is tight this month.
That one is so natural. Native speakers use it all the time.
Now, let's talk about the opposite feeling, when you're doing okay financially, when you're not rich, but you're comfortable.
Then you can say, I'm doing okay financially, or I'm pretty comfortable right now.
You can also say, I can manage. That means you can handle your expenses.
Right. Or,
I'm not rich, but I'm getting by.
That sentence describes so many people. Now let's move on to talking about prices and affordability, because this comes up all the time when shopping or traveling.
Yes, one of the most useful phrases is, "That's too expensive for me."
Or if something is affordable, you can say, that's within my budget.
Budget is such an important word. A budget is a plan for how you spend your money.
Exactly. You can say, I'm on a tight budget right now, or I need to stick to my budget.
And if something is cheap, you can say it's a good deal or it's good value for money.
I love that phrase. Value for money means something is worth the price.
Now, Haley, let's talk about borrowing and lending money because this can be awkward.
Very awkward, but still very real. If you need to borrow money, you can say politely, can I borrow some money? Or could you lend me some money?
And don't forget to add a reason. Can I borrow some money until next week?
Yes, and if you want to promise repayment, say, I'll pay you back next Friday.
And if someone asks you to lend money, but you can't, it's okay to say, I'm sorry, I can't afford to lend money right now.
That's honest and polite. Now let's talk about money habits, because people love talking about this.
Yes, you can say, I'm good with money, or I'm bad with money.
If you spend too much, you might say, I'm a bit of a spender.
And if you save a lot, you can say, I'm a saver.
There's also a very fun phrase, I'm trying to be more careful with my money.
That one sounds very responsible.
Now, Sam, let's talk about money conversations at work. How do you talk about salary politely?
Good question. Instead of asking directly, you can say, can we talk about compensation?
Or, I'd like to discuss my salary.
If you want a raise, you can say, I was hoping for a raise. Or, is there room for a salary increase?
Very professional. Now, let's slow things down and help our listeners practice full sentences.
Okay, I'll start. I'm trying to save money, but it's difficult with rising prices.
Nice one. Here's mine. I always check prices before I buy anything.
Another one. I prefer paying in cash because it helps me control my spending.
And one more. I'm worried about unexpected expenses.
Unexpected expenses are the worst.
Absolutely. Now, let's do a quick summary for everyone listening.
Today, we learned how to talk about money in daily English.
We talked about earning money, spending money, saving money, and budgeting.
We learned how to describe money stress, affordability, borrowing, lending, and money habits.
Most importantly, we learned that money is a normal topic. You don't need big words. Simple, honest English is enough.
Exactly. Talking about money helps you connect with people, especially in real-life situations.
Now it's time for our question of the day.
Here it is. What is one thing you are trying to save money for right now?
Is it travel, a new phone, education, or just peace of mind?
Write your answer in the comments using this sentence. I'm saving money for...
We love reading your comments, and it's amazing practice for your English.
And remember, learning English is not about being perfect. It's about expressing real life.
Money is real life. Your experiences matter.
Thank you so much for spending time with us on English is My Life.
If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with a friend who's learning English.
We'll be back soon with another useful topic.
Until then, keep practicing, take care of yourself,
And be kind to your wallet.
bye everyone. See you next time.